Hi guys! This week we are going to be learning how to make the Flappy Bird game on Scratch. If you're not familiar with it, essentially you have a little bird. It can be actually whatever animal or flying thing that you want. It doesn't even have to fly. Something that'll bounce through a two set of pipes and or two sets of some vertical obstacles. So I will show you guys how that works. So here, and I'm very bad at all these games. So you can click restart, and you just bounce by tapping on your mouse. You can operate it to, or command it to jump and fly when you press the space key instead. However, for this lesson, we'll learn how to do with the mouse tapping. When you want to restart, you just click restart, okay? So I'm gonna stop that, and I'll move this. And we are going to, don't want to show you that yet. We are going to create. So the main Scratch page, I'll click on that. And then you'll see up in the top blue bar, over on the left next to the Scratch logo, is create. So once you're there, you're going to see Scratchy the Sprite, of course. We've seen him many times. Let me just make myself a little bit smaller. I don't think I can. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to delete Scratchy the Sprite. He's not going to be in our game. And we're going to go make a bird. And how you can do this, how I did it pretty simple, was just went to choose a sprite in that bottom right hand corner, and I'm going to choose ball because there's many different colors of the ball, and it's kind of like a nice little circular body for the bird. But we're going to go click in this costumes tab up in the top left, and we're just going to add some bird-like features. So I'll click, let's do a blue bird this time because my original game was yellow. So we're just going to add a beak onto it. I don't want a purple beak. Let's say we want let's do a black beak so it stands out. So what you can do is you can draw over and then just make a kind of simple looking beak like this. You don't have to color it in all the way there. And then we're going to click this beak component, and up in the top right part of the sprite editor, we're going to send it back. So backward, or you can do back instead. Either or will send it back. And there now you can see on the program viewer screen that my little guy has a sort of beak. And then we're just going to add an eye. Something really simple, but I don't want the eye to be too big. So up here in the paint editor, I'll change that to like 6. And there, he'll have his eye. So there, he's a cute little bird. He's just very simple. You guys can spend more time on your bird if you want, but for the sake of just showing you how to make a general little bird for this game, that's how it looks. So I'll keep it as that. I'm going to go to the code for it now. Actually, let's just we only have one other main sprite, so let's just make that one right now. So we're going to go to this sprite section in the bottom right, and we're going to go choose a sprite. Instead of choosing a sprite, we're just going to paint a sprite. So you guys saw that I had kind of tubes coming out from the top and bottom. We are going to make 2 costumes for the sprite, a top or tube that comes from the top, and then a tube that comes from the bottom, okay? And how we'll do that, it's pretty simple. Over on this left-hand side, make sure you're in the vector, not the convert to bitmap section, and you're going to just click the rectangle. You're just going to drag from the top here a rectangle. I don't want it to be that color though, so you can either change the color up here before or after you do it. Let's say I want red pipes this time. Actually, we'll do some yellowish pipes. Okay. All right, yellow is not the color I want now. We'll just do some red. So here we have some deeper red pipes. And to make it actually look like a pipe, you're going to click on it and you're going to add an outline too. So we'll just do outline and change it to like a black. So there, if you want the outline thicker, you can add that here, this section, and I'll do an outline like that. That works. Actually, I'm going to do that a little bit less. Okay, so there, now I've got my outline for my tubes. Now let's make the little pipe bottom, okay? So it looks like an actual pipe. That's the same. And we've already filled out the colors here, so we're just gonna have to drag out a little bottom for our pipe, okay? So here, I'll go like that. I'm gonna make that actually a little bit smaller so it looks more with it. There is our first pipe. So my face is kind of covering it, but you can see on the screen where the pipe is. Now to make a bottom pipe, it's going to be pretty simple. All we got to do is we're just going to go back to click with the mouse section over here, and we're going to click that copy, okay? So we'll click copy, and then we're going to go to choose a costume down in the bottom left. It's that same cat with the plus sign, and we are going to paint a new one. It's going to be very simple. All we do now, instead of copying, we're just going to paste. So here, now we see that same guy, but as with it still highlighted like this with the blue dots all around it, you're going to choose flip vertical. And then you're going to drag him down just right below there to the bottom. It can be pretty much anywhere in the bottom here. Just set it generally so it's kind of like here. It'll be easier to set the position for it later. So here now we've got costume 1, you can see over here, and then costume 2, which is the bottom pipe. So there we've made both of our main sprites. We'll also have a game over and restart sprite at the end, but we will save that for the very end. So let's start coding our bird. I'm going to choose to hide the sprite for right now, which you can just do in the sprite section, and choose the no show, which is the I with the slash through it. And I'm just going to name our sprite pipe so we can keep track of that. But here, oh, and instead of bird, we'll do, or ball, we'll do bird. So now we've got our bird and our pipe sprite. So let's do some simple coding for this guy. We're going to do a win flag clicked event, which is generally my favorite to go for. If you want to use the win space key press, that's the same thing. Instead of running your program though with the flag, you're just going to press the space bar. I know some people prefer that, but for most of my tutorials, we'll keep it win flag clicked. It just keeps it pretty simple. So win flag clicked. We are then going to, my bird looks a little bit big, so we're going to go to the looks purple button, and we're just going to set his size to a smaller size. And I'm just going to approximate and say I want it to be like 70. So there, now he's a cute little size. He'll be small enough to fly through the pipes, but big enough to still see. And then we're going to actually set his initial spot or initial position to a little bit further back. So right now he is at -59, -16. I'm just going to click and drag him to a place where I kind of want him to start. And then we'll go to the motion section, the blue bar. And the 5th command line down, it says go to X negative something and Y negative something. Yours will have different values, of course, but just go to X, Y. And there it matches up with the position of my bird currently. So I'm going to keep it at that because I want my bird to start pretty much right here. So doing that, then we also want to set a forever loop for all of the function of the bird. So forever loops will just keep the bird doing the same motion or same command the entire time. And so we want to make sure, you guys saw that my bird kind of jumps up and down when you click on it. So we're going to do some command lines to make that happen. So we're going to first do a general command that says, we're going to set a new variable, and this is going to change the Y position. So we're going to go, so here in variables, we're going to click make a variable. And we'll name this change Y, okay? So change Y, and we're gonna just set change Y to, right now it's set to change Y equals 0, but we're gonna do like negative 0.8, and this makes it so that if you're not clicking anything, if you're not playing the game, it automatically brings the bird down, because you have to keep clicking or tapping a button. In our case, the mouse. You got to keep clicking that to be able to keep the bird flying and afloat. So this will just automatically give it some gravity to it so it falls down if you're not playing the game. So now we're going to say if you're touching the mouse. So if then, which is in the control 5th button down, and it's the 4th block down, if then, and we're going to drag a sensing option in that light blue section, and it's going to say mouse down. What mouse downs means is when you're clicking the mouse, okay? So either if you've got a regular mouse, it's just one finger click on the left part, or if you've got a laptop pad, it's just one finger click as well. So here, if mouse down, then we want to make it fly. So it's going to set change Y. So we'll go back to variables, and we're going to set change Y to, let's say 10. We'll do 10. You guys can try whatever values you think work best, but this is going to be how fast, when you click it, how fast it shoots back up real quick to start flying. So the higher this number is, the faster the bird will fly up. Okay, so, and we're also going to make it look like it's flying by having it point in a different direction, okay? So point up a little bit more, but not completely up, just a little bit like it's shooting in that way. So let's do point in direction from the motion section, point in direction, and right now it's pointing directly this way, or hold on, this way for you guys. So we're gonna make it point more so up this way. Sorry, my camera's backwards. Okay, so we're gonna do point in direction 45, because that gives it a good angle. And doing that, then we also want to make sure that we are in, before we set that change Y, then natural change Y to sort of a gravity value, we want to make sure that we change Y by the change in Y, which does kind of is weird saying that, change Y by change Y, but I promise you it makes sense. It's just so that instead of choosing a basic value that you can't change, this allows you to change that value throughout. So it's not just a constant change in Y. So we're going to go back to variables and just drag out that change Y variable into that spot where it says change Y by 10. There. Now we've got that. And let's just see what he does right now. So we'll start. Right now he's just kind of flying. It's going a little bit slow. My screen's always slow when I record these, but anyways, so there. But we're gonna add a couple more options for him. So we're just gonna add one more, and then we'll do some of the pipe commands. So we're gonna do another in the control section, if then block, and we're gonna say if the direction of the bird is less than 90 degrees, so it's not facing in the correct way, then we're going to turn it 5 degrees so that it starts to, when it's not flying, it starts to slowly turn back facing forward. Slowly turning back facing forward, okay? So we'll go to motion, and we're going to do just turn 15 degrees inside that if then block. We haven't set a condition yet, which we will do. But we're going to say like 5 degrees, okay? A small, very small value. You don't want it to turn too quick. I mean, you can, but it makes it look more gradual and put together. So we're going to go to operators, the green button over on the left-hand side. And we're going to say this less than operator. So the this way alligator, okay? As you can see there, it looks like this value is going to eat that value as an alligator. We'll just drag that in here. And we're going to change this value to 90, but we want to make sure that this says direction, which is up in the motion section. And we're going to drag this direction circle or bubble over here. So if direction is less than 90, then turn back. So if it is flying currently, when it is not getting tapped to fly to point in the 45 direction, which it is pointing right now, it'll start to slowly go back to pointing this way. So now let's try that. Of course, mine's going to be slow again. But look, he's kind of flying. Okay, so I'll stop that now. Now let's switch and do some of the pipe work. So we're going to go switch in the bottom right corner. We're going to be done with this code for a little bit. If you want to pause and just make sure everything's all right here, please pause. We'll come back and add one more thing at the end, which is going to be sort of a game over clause. But we'll go back to the pipe in the sprite section, and we are going to again drag out a when flag clicked. So once we drag that when flag clicked, we are going to make sure that the pipes are hidden right away, because we don't want them to be on the screen and just showing in a standstill place. We want it to kind of glide in, which we'll do with clones, but we are just going to choose in the look section, we're going to go and hide our pipes first, okay? Which they are already hidden with this I button down here over in the sprite section. I'll show them for now so you can see it, but when I click flag, they're just going to hide again. So when flag clicked, now they hid. But we are going to set up a couple different values for our pipe and when it clones. So bear with me, but we are going to set another forever loop. And this is going to keep the pipes doing the same thing the entire game. So we'll go to control, and we're going to drag out a forever loop. And then inside that forever loop, we're going to set a few different variables. So we're going to have to go down to that orange variable section. And in that orange variable section, we're going to make three new variables. 3 variables. My bad. So we're going to name one pipe position. Okay, so this is going to be where that pipe comes out, because we want to set a random position. So the top pipe might start a little bit higher while the bottom pipe starts lower. And so it changes that width between the two of the pipes so that the bird has different heights and different distances to travel for it. So we'll do pipe position for a variable. And we're also going to make 2 more variables called top start y, and then as well we'll have a bottom start y. And what these are going to do is it'll choose where that initial pipe will start, both the bottom and the top. So bottom start y. And the pipe position, so the bottom start and the top start y are different than the pipe position, because the pipe position will just tell us if it's going to be the bottom pipe or the bottom pipe or the top pipe, but the bottom start and the top start y values or variables, those will actually give us number variable or numerical values for the y position. So it'll tell us over in this program viewer screen what y coordinate that pipe will start at. And this pipe position variable simply will tell us whether you want a bottom pipe or a top pipe, because we're going to have to alternate between those to make it top and bottom, okay? So now we're just going to drag out some set variables for those. So we just made 3 new variables, so we're going to set all 3 of those. And so let's set bottom start y to 0 right now. We'll change it in a second. We're going to do top start y to 0, and then we're gonna change pipe position to, we'll have a top, so we can write in top right there, and then we'll also have a set bottom start Y to bottom. Oh wait, sorry, not bottom start Y, but pipe position. Let me change the name of that. So bottom. But in between those, we need to keep a couple different commands to tell it to create a clone of itself. So we're going to go back to control, that orange button, the fifth one down. And if you scroll down, you'll find create clone of myself. So in between top start Y, so above this pipe position to top, set pipe position to top, you're going to do a create clone of myself. And then as well, between the two pipe positions, top and bottom, you're going to also create another clone of yourself. If we do this right now, though, it's not going to create a clone in a way that we'll be able to see. It's just going to do it instantaneous, and it'll always create a top or a bottom rather than both. So we need to set some wait times. So in that same control section, you're going to scroll up, and we're going to drag out a wait 1 second to here after create clone of myself. And then as well, we are going to have another wait 1 second dragged out below the set position to top. And so I'll keep those at 1 right now, but we might change them in a bit. So now we've set up all this, but we need to change these bottom start Ys and top start Ys to values. So bottom start Y, let's say if we show our pipe currently is sitting at Y28 for bottom. So let's change our bottom start to 28 just so it comes out this way so we can see. So 28. And then let's go to costumes and click on the costume 1, the top pipe. And let's see what that Y value is. That Y value is also at 28. So we're going to set top start to Y. So here, now once we've done that, we're just going to click play, and we won't be able to see anything yet. We shouldn't, because it's going to hide it. So after doing that, now we need to tell it, after doing all of this, we have to tell it to actually start as a clone. And so we're just going to want to make sure that we start a new clone, because we've created clones over here twice of the top and the bottom pipes, but we want to also create something that starts the clone. So we're going to go back to control, and we're going to choose when I start as a clone. And here we've had it hidden when the flag is clicked, but when it clones itself, we want to show it. So that's over in the purple look section. Then following that, we'll go back to the orange control section, and we'll click another forever loop. Forever loops are very common in games, as I've said. And we will choose not an if-then, but an if-then-else. So it's got an if-then condition, as well as if that is not satisfied, that condition, then it's going to do something else. So if, in this case, we're going to say if the pipe position is top, or sorry, we can do either. I'll do top though. So if pipe position is top, then switch the costume to the first one. And then else, that would mean that pipe position is bottom. Then it would switch the costume to the second costume, which is that bottom pipe. If you guys want me to show you again, here, first costume is top, which I can rename as top pipe. And then bottom pipe. Okay? So then I will go and say that if it equals that, which we'll grab two equal operators, or just actually, sorry, one equal operator from the operator green button. And then we're going to drag pipe position from variables. So if pipe position, right now it says equals 50, we're going to do top. Then we want it to switch to that first costume, which we renamed as top pipe. So switch costume to top pipe, which is in the look section. It's about 5 blocks down. Switch costume to top pipe, and we want to set it to a certain X position and Y position when it starts. And so here we already gave it that bottom start Y and that top start Y. We'll just use those variables. Right now we just have them both set at 28, but we're going to change it so they're going to be random variables, so it'll come at different, the pipe positions will change. But we always want them to start off screen. So we're going to have an X value of, I can drag my bird over, and we'll see how far I can drag the bird. And that's about, oh, it's not going to let me. Hold on. So that's about 236. We want it all the way off though. So let's say like 250 or 260. So I'm going to go to motion and say go to XY coordinates. And we're going to say, right now it's hidden, we can't see them, but it's right here. Let's just drag the pipe all the way over here and then add a little bit to that. So right now it's 246, but we don't want to see it at all, so let's do 260 and see if it lets me do that. Okay, so X equals 260, and then right now we're going to drag those variables and we'll say top start Y, so where it starts. And then as well, we're going to switch the costume to bottom pipe and go to that same X coordinate, but with Y equals bottom start Y. So give me a second to do that. And those are the same exact blocks you just used up here. So we'll say 260 for that one, and then Y is going to be the top start Y, or sorry, bottom start Y. My bad. So then that'll create them to come from there, but we got to make it move. So we're going to set in the control, we're going to do a repeat until function. So this will allow it to keep making new ones, but then close off and delete that clone when it's reached the end right here. So let's do repeat until operator. We want to do less than sign. We're going to say less than, we'll do, since we did 260 over here, we'll do less than negative 260 over here. So that's just going to be the opposite side of the X, since X runs along this way and the 0 is right here, so 260 and then negative 260. So we're going to do repeat until X position is less than negative 260, which is in the motion section. It's about the third option from the bottom. X position is less than negative 260. If that is happening, then we want to change our X, or before that is fulfilled, because we want it to repeat until it's less than that position. Then we want to change our X, since we're moving from right to left, we got to go negative. So we're going to do like -5 for the speed. That's pretty much the speed of which the pipe will change. And then finally in that forever loop, we want to delete that clone, which we'll do in the control section. So delete this clone right below that repeat until loop, not inside of it, but still inside that forever loop. So now let's see what we have going now. So right now, I have not changed. Right now, they're all going the same here, and I have not changed them to different values. So we are going to want to switch these pipe values to something different. And let's do negative 240 so that it stops when it reaches the end and doesn't keep showing. Because, yeah, there we go. Now it looks like it deletes. But see, the bottom pipe right now is still creating. It's not the top pipe. So we'll have to figure that out. Maybe, let me switch this. Oh, no, we're good. Okay. Actually, no, let's switch these around. So we'll do top pipe on the bottom and then bottom pipe up here. And say if pipe position equals bottom. So now, okay. We didn't need to do that. You can keep it the same. So it can still be top up there, but we need to change this bottom start Y and this top start Y to not 28, but to an actual number. So let's go to pick random in operators. Let me actually move my face again so it's not in the way. We're going to do pick random for both of them, okay? So pick random. I'll move this a little bit. And pick random. And here now is kind of up to you guys where you want to choose based on how you made your pipes. But I'm just going to drag my bird around and see a good Y option. But you want to see where your top pipe, so for top start, or let's do bottom start Y first, this is going to say where that pipe comes out, so how far up it is, okay? And depending on how you created it in the paint sprite option, that'll let us know where it will be. So it's a little bit of trial and error for it. So I'm going to say approximately, just because I've already done it before and I don't want to have to make you guys sit and wait and watch me to do this. Let's do like 50 for, actually let's do, because it's bottom, let's do 10 and like -80. And then let's do 50 and -10 for the range of Y values that the top can start at and what the bottom pipe can start at. And then as well, I'm just going to change one of these values, so 0.5 and then 0.75. And you guys can keep those values however you want. But so now, for some reason, it looks like it's creating two of the same pipes right now. So we're going to stop that. And I'm going to quickly look through my other code and see what I might have done wrong. I see, okay. So right now it's going through and recreating something without us telling it to. So we're gonna switch this weight to the bottom here and we'll say that's 0.75 and this is 0.5. So let's see now. Okay, so now they're really close together, but our pipes are doing pretty good. So I might want to change those Y start values. So let's say this doesn't go as far as there. Let's just do 0. So there, now I have some space. But do you guys see how I can touch the pipe and go through it? We got a code now in our bird code to tell it when it hits a pipe that it has to say game over. So we're pretty much almost done. But here we'll go back to the bird code. So by the way, what I had just fixed, you guys can pause, but I just moved that wait 0.75 seconds, or it used to be 0.5, but it was above this first create clone of myself, but put it below that set pipe position to bottom, just because it'll alter how it works later. So you can pause and go fix that. But here, when flag clicked, we're going to add in a condition that says if touching the pipe, then we want our game to end. So we'll go back to control, and we'll say if then statement again, if then loop, and we'll go to sensing, if touching, currently it says mouse pointer, but we'll do if touching pipe, then go back to control, and we want to say stop all, which is the fourth option from the bottom. So stop all. But as you guys saw, I also had a game over screen that lets you click and restart. So we're going to also broadcast a message, which is in events. And this broadcast message, we'll put it in here, inside that if touching pipe loop. And we're going to create a new message that says game over, okay? And then here we want to, so then it'll have the game stop. So I'll show you guys. So I'm clicking and playing, but let me just hit a pipe. There, it stops all of it, okay? Also, while we're at it, I'm going to go and turn off all these variables, which you can do by clicking in the variable section and unclicking those blue check marks, unclicking all of those. And so now you don't see them on your program viewer anymore. You see the program stopped when I hit the pipe, but we want to make that game over screen real quick. So what we're going to do is go back to create a sprite down in this bottom right corner. I'm going to choose paint, and we will create a quick game over screen. And so I'm just going to do that for you guys. Okay, so now I've created a general game over screen. You can still see my bird though, so we're gonna have to do some coding quick to make sure that we get rid of that bird and allow us to click a restart button. So we're gonna go back to code tab, and we're gonna make sure that we're in our game over sprite, which I'll name to game over screen. So there, game over screen. And we're going to tell it that when the flag is clicked, we don't want to see our game over screen. We only want it to show when the broadcast message says game over. So we'll say in events, when flag clicked, hide, which is in looks. So when flag clicked, hide. And then back in events, when I receive, and if it's not already at game over, when I receive game over, you'll click it. So game over, show. Pretty simple. If you want to position it in a different place than where you have it on your screen currently, then you can change that. I kind of set it up while I was painting it to make sure that it was on the screen correctly, even though it wasn't completely aligned in the center, as you guys can see, but I just skipped having to position it later on with motion blocks, which you guys can do, but I will not do that. Then as well, we want to make sure that when you click restart, that it restarts the game. So we're going to do another event that says when this sprite is clicked. We want to broadcast another message, and we want to hide. But we want to wait a little bit to do that. So we'll drag out a wait 1 second from the control section. So wait 1 second, and we'll tell it to hide. So it'll hide this game over screen when we restart. And then as well, in events, we want to broadcast a new message. So right now it says game over, but we're going to create a new message. Create a new message that says restart. Okay? So now we've done that. But we have to tell it that when the game is over, that bird needs to hide. As well, the pipes need to hide. So we'll just go do the pipes because they're pretty simple. Actually, we'll do bird first because we got to do two things. So when I receive game over, pretty simple. We want the bird to hide, which is in looks. Okay? So hide. But also when we click restart, it won't automatically do the flag clicked. So we're going to copy all what we have here, which you can either do by clicking and dragging that first box out, and then click it and just Command C. So that's to copy it. If you don't know how to do that, do not worry. Just make sure that you pause and remake all of these. So set size to 70% all the way down. You want to put that under a new event block that says when I receive, not game over, but when I receive restart. And it's going to be exactly what is shown here, okay? So I'm just going to cheat and paste my new stuff. So it's exactly the code I have for when the flag is clicked initially, okay? That's what I'll have when it restarts. So it's just going to keep on going. Now I'll do the same thing for the pipe. We want to make sure that when I receive game over, that we hide the pipes. And as well, we do not need to copy this one when I start as a clone, because when I start as a clone only is called when you actually create a clone of yourself. So all we have to do is copy. So click and drag this hide. If you know how to copy and paste, Control or Command C, then I'll drag that back there. But instead of a when flag clicked, we're also going to have, I'll zoom out a little bit. We're also going to have in events, when I receive restart, and I'll copy and paste that, which is with Command V or Control V. So now we have the same exact, I'll zoom out even more, this flag section and this flag section, or this restart section, are the exact same. and they will be the exact same because it's just remaking sure that it continues to go whenever we click restart. So now I think we've got that all down. Let's just check and see what our game looks like now. Click flag. Oh, I might want to move those pipes a little bit actually, so we'll go back to the pipe code, and I don't want that top pipe to go as high, so we'll say 0 for the top pipe for its pick random, okay? Oh, actually, one thing, we got to make sure then that since we hit it in game over, the bird sometimes won't come back. So go to the bird code and make sure that in your win flag clicked and when I receive restart that you have a show somewhere in there. It can be pretty much anywhere in there, it just has to be above the forever loop, so show. So now we can see our bird again, perfect. And here we are playing, and there I lose, but if I click restart, it'll make the game re-go, which is pretty cool. So you guys just, I know mine is pretty slow. I hope your guys isn't as slow because you're not recording yourself on the screen as well. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson. I'll go full screen so we can fully see our finished product. Here's our little bird, and let's do the flag clicked. And if you just tap, yep, I already lost. You'll tap. If you tap and hold down, then it'll keep flying. But there, so game over, restart, keep playing. But yeah, you guys learned how to make your own little Flappy game. So I'm very glad to have taught you again. I think this is one of my last videos for a while for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.